Crazy times right now in the US. We've got a ton of resources you need to know about and a little real estate update as well. Tune into a special remote episode of Toole Time right now. So we are back on Toole Time. Different look, different times. First off, hope everyone watching is safe. You're doing well. You're with your family. I know that's what Jess and I have been working on. So I'm Tom Toole. She's Jess Lion. You know the deal here. Very different episode. And what we're going to talk about today is, most importantly, resources and information you need to know about as we go through this changing time in our country. Jess, I know you got a lot to go over.
Yep.
I got a ton to go over. Why don't you start, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, I wanted to start off with that some stores, and I saw this as I was scrolling through Instagram, and I wanted to check and see if it was actually true. But some stores are dedicating business hours and for certain hours for elderly and immune compromised people to go and shop. So I looked on Business Insider, and they gave a list of a bunch of different stores and what their hours are going to be for this select group of people. There's Walmart, Target, Giant, Whole Foods. I know they're opening an hour early. Dollar General. I know Target, the first hour that they're open, they're going to be open to elderly specific, helping them out, making sure that they get what they need. And in addition, they're also putting a limit as to what people can buy, because people are going in and swiping the shelves and taking off more than what they need. And that's really leaving people in a really bad situation if they do need supplies, if they need, water or soap or toilet paper or things like that. And you need to really, I think, take what you need and leave what else is out there for people who really do need it.
I love that they're doing that because, people have come out and said people are over purchasing right now. They're buying stuff and the stores are going to get restocked. That's not the issue. The issue is once you buy it, you can't leave the house again. And there's so many services out there where you can get stuff delivered to your home. So I love that they're doing that. I had to go to a pharmacy to pick up some stuff for our family, and it said take two. And I was like, yes, this is what we're talking about. And what you just said there actually reminded me of Fear the Walking Dead. Not to compare this, but they had a box on the side of the road, and they said, take what you need, leave what you don't. And I think that's a great way people need to be looking at things here. So I got a couple other resources. You can jump back in. Usually we're sitting next to each other. This is a little weird for us here. Most importantly, I saw something that I love, and a lot of local school districts are doing this. So locally, look at your school district and find out. I'd be surprised if they aren't. I did as much research as I could, but we obviously live in a large metro area. So Philadelphia schools, Lower Merion, Haverford, Phoenixville. I believe Downingtown's doing the same thing. I saw some information out Westchester. So all these people, they are having grab-and-go lunches, because I didn't even realize this. My kids go to school, right? So there's a lot of kids that depend on schools for breakfast and for lunch. So they're having these grab-and-go meals. Philadelphia has 30 different pickup spots in the city. Lower Merion schools, where our kids go, from 11 to 1 every day at the Montgomery and Anderson Avenue parking lots in Suburban Square. They have a grab-and-go lunch pickup. Haverford Township's doing the same thing at the high school or at Manoa Elementary. Phoenixville's doing it at a number of places, including Barclay Elementary, the old Sacred Heart School. So get in touch with your local school district and see where you can get these grab-and-go lunches. This is really, really important, because that's how some kids rely on to get their food, and not everyone's lucky enough to go buy thousands of rolls of toilet paper and take it home with them. So I think that is a huge thing the school districts are doing, and I love it.
It's something that you don't think about right away. Of course, it's good that the schools closed immediately, stop and prevention and all that stuff, but a lot of kids, that's their only meal of the day. So I think it's really important that the community knows that they can go there and they'll be taken care of in some sense.
For sure. And while we're talking about schools, if you're a teacher watching this, and I love this because we use this company all the time. So BombBomb, major shout out here. Love what you're doing. They're giving away free video emails in case teachers want to get face-to-face with their students, because I mean, Jess, I feel like we've been living on Zoom calls the past couple weeks. I feel like, and or not weeks, days, excuse me. It feels like weeks. And what BombBomb's doing is for any teacher out there, they want to get a video email account. They can do that right on their site. I believe it's bombbomb.com/teachers. And if that's not right, just Google it and it'll get you there. And the beauty of this to me is that like some kids, I mean, these teachers are with my kids a lot.
Right.
My son's first grade teacher said this at orientation. I like almost cried legitimately, and he's got an amazing teacher, so he knows who he is. I'm not going to give him too much credit, but he said, "Hey, I'm with your kids when they're awake, probably more than you are, because when you think like they're with us a lot, but they're sleeping 8 hours a day, so that's really important." And so the BombBomb's doing that, which I think is a great thing to try to keep it normal for these kids.
Yeah.
And it's also easy to work for teachers. Like you don't have to be like some tech rock star to figure this out. So we use it all the time. Love that.
For sure. I think it's really important to keep that sense of community and seeing, everybody every day still. And that's what we've been doing, just to really keep spirits up and show that things are still continuing on, especially for your kids. Because if it's a sudden stop, it's like, what's going on? And that can create a lot of anxiety. So that's a great tool.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. And again, there's no skin in the game for these people. If you go to internetessentials.com, Comcast is giving people 2 months of free internet to get through this in case you don't have internet at your home. And like, I don't know what I do right now if I didn't have the internet. I mean, we're doing this via the web.
I've been got anything going on.
I don't know how you do it anytime anyway, but especially in this situation, you can't go talk to people. I mean, there's a whole other issue here. So, and there's a lot of like older people that don't have the internet. And if they want to see their relatives and like FaceTime them or do whatever, that's going to be really important. So internetessentials.com is another great resource. And then I feel like that's a pretty critical one. The last one, and I know you talked about this too, but this is my jam. So I'm going to take the lead on it, is Peloton is giving away a 90-day free usage of their app. So let's say you have like an exercise bike at home and you never use it and it's not a Peloton bike. You get on the app and you can do these classes on demand. Like it's so easy. So I'll show you on my phone here. And I've done this when I've like been on the road traveling where they have all the different classes. So let's say you just pick one here. So let's go to cycling, right?
Oh, so it's not just cycling, it's for the other ones too.
Well, you can do anything on here, right? So like when I was younger, I ran track, but I never really learned how to work out. So you want to do a strength workout. Well, they have 10-minute shoulders and arms or 30-minute full body strength. And you can do all this stuff. And really, to me, movement is medicine right now, probably more than ever. Like, I mean, I've been working out every day and I'm actually like thinking, and I've been making sure Bridget at home, my wife's been doing it, even with the kids, because if you don't do that, like you're going to go crazy. And so this is such a great thing they're doing. I was actually supposed to, I was really bummed because I was supposed to do my 750th ride in the studio next week around a leadership event that we were doing. And I was going to New York. I can't do it. So this is a nice kind of backup. And it's a great resource for people because it's going to help them from stop going like stir crazy.
That's awesome. I know Planet Fitness, Orange Theory, I know all the other gyms are kind of doing the same thing, posting videos and on Instagram Live. They're doing a lot of like community workouts. So there's definitely a way that, I mean, and also people are running outside. And if you do it early enough, you're not going to run into anybody else. So, but yeah, there's resources for you to get moving.
Well, it's going to help you. And like, I have a yard, right? Like some people don't. So you're in like a condo, like that's going to really be helpful. I mean, and there's a lot of different challenges that are being presented right now. I mean, a good friend of mine, he lives in New York and he's not staying there right now. He's got a newborn baby. And he has to go out his door, in the elevator, down the door. And it's like, oh, this is all common stuff. So, and the baby doesn't have any vaccinations yet, right? So this is really, really nice to be able to like get what you need and get that workout in every day, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. I also got an email from my accountant just letting us know that on a Wednesday, yesterday, the IRS issued notice 2020-17, and it's just giving you details on deferral of federal income tax payments. So instead of your payment being due on April 15th, it's now due on July 15th, which is really big for a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I mean, that to me is pretty important because without that, I mean, people aren't working right now and they might need a little bit of a float to get their tax money together or whatever else. So Really good thing that's going on there. That was a great move by the government. That's one of the things I wanted to hit on too, because it's that critical. So July 15th is when the payments due. You still got to file. You still got to file. Don't forget. That's due on the 15th. So that's another great opportunity that's out there. What I wanted to share is I also got this memo from the PA State Police about scams you need to avoid. And this to me is real. You got something? Go ahead.
Well, I actually heard, and I don't know if it's a scam or not, and this might be it, but um, they wouldn't be arresting for like grand theft auto and people stealing from stores and looting and things like that. And I think that's a scam because that would be absolutely crazy. But what did you have?
Well, so I think I would say that's more of a crime than a scam, but that definitely illegal stuff. Like I hear your point.
Putting that out there and saying that's going to be a thing.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. I misunderstood you. See, this is the problem when you're on Zoom. You can't hear stuff all the time. So there's a couple of them here. One is beware of fraudulent fundraising campaigns that claim to collect for the CDC or WHO or for victims through a crowdfunding site like GoFundMe. So be aware of what you're donating to is what they're saying, which I think is really good. There was actually a guy Amazon banned for doing this, which I love. Price gouging on household supplies. I don't even know the guy's name. I wish I could just say it right here. But they were looking at specifically toilet paper, hand sanitizer, bleach, and Pennsylvania law defines price gouging as charging more than 20% over the price charge before the emergency started. And you can report any of this to www.attorneygeneral.gov, which I love that they're doing because there was a guy on Amazon. He was selling he bought all the hand sanitizers, right? And he sold them at this crazy high price.
I heard
and
that.
Amazon said, get the F out of here.
Good.
Great job by Amazon. That was a really good one.
Could you imagine? And they have all the hand sanitizer and they're charging $50 a bottle for it. Forget it.
I've seen 500. I mean, I think Sean had Sean, an agent on our team, and said he saw $500 on eBay or something like that. That's different than putting it on Amazon like that. Other things, advertisements for supplies that take your money and fail to deliver. That's all over the internet all the time. Social advertisements or other media channels claiming to sell vaccines, cures, and tests for COVID-19. There's no known cure or vaccine yet. I know they're working on some stuff, but there's nothing there yet. Investment opportunities that promise high returns on low risk or hedge against the volatile market. The other stuff here is pretty basic.
People who are going to be looking for stuff like that, and then there's the other set of people who know that they're coming and are going to screw them over and scam them. So you really do have to be careful.
100%. So that came out from the Pennsylvania State Police. I love what they were doing, just putting that stuff out there, especially the first couple. The rest of that's kind of common sense, but the false fundraising, price gouging, and then obviously any fake advertisements about that. So that's pretty important.
Amazon is still delivering. I think they stopped delivering non-essential products, but did you hear about that?
What do you got? I'm watching the news.
I thought I read an article saying that they stopped delivering non-essential products and they want to only be able to deliver groceries, toiletries, things like that.
Go to our friend Google here. So this is the advantage of being on this. So, so according to Business Insider, Amazon's going to, hold on. Amazon's blocking all shipments of non-essential products to warehouses in response to significant increase in orders. So if it's not in stock, it'll be in trouble.
Right.
So the last thing I'll leave you with here, and what I want to tell everyone is tune in to Welcome to the Weekend on our Facebook channel with John, Michael, and Steph, because they're going to go over things to do this weekend. This is meant to be more of a PSA. But one thing with it that there's a lot of restaurants out there that are hurting right now. We talked about this with Rich, right?
Yeah.
But specifically, there's one that kind of caught my attention. It's Sam's Brick Oven Pizza. That is a local place I go to all the time with our family. They have this great thing where it's not just pick up the food. It's an activity. So they're hey, here's your own kit to make a pizza. Here's a bottle of wine. And it's $35, which is a pretty good deal. I mean, and the wine's a decent bottle of wine. It's not some garbage wine like Boone's Farm or something. So I think it was Francis Ford Coppola, which is good wine. Yeah, it's good mid-level wine, right?
Yeah.
So you pick that up, $35, and you can, and then like the thing we're looking forward to is the activity portion because my kids are going bananas in the house
Yeah.
and stuff like that's really cool. I know there was another, and they're gonna cover all this stuff.
Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff to talk about tomorrow, stuff you could do with your kids, as adults, with your friends remotely. It's really cool. So they should definitely tune in.
Yeah, there's another and another one I'll just plug real quick is that the Mud Room, also in Ardmore, that's where we live. What they're doing is they used to have like camps there where you make like ceramics and stuff, so it's like kind of like an art camp, which is pretty cool. Instead of that, they're actually you can the pick up the supplies and do it yourself at home. So again, like you got to break up these days here. I mean, it's been tough. Like all the parents out there, I feel you, and
Hmm.
it's been hard. So we're gonna break down all that stuff tomorrow for you. That's meant to be more fun. This is really like important resources to get through what's going on here. So,
Very cool.
um, and
And
go ahead. I had one more, but if you got something, go ahead.
I was going to bring up what you were going to bring up, Zillow.
Well, that's not what I was going to bring up. So the last thing I'll tell you is if you're ordering food and you're worried about no contact deliveries, DoorDash, Uber Eats, they both have no contact delivery options. Uber Eats has a $0 delivery fee right now.
Hmm.
And Caviar, which is like is local as well. They're all kind of the same thing, like food delivery.
All the
They
same.
also have no contact options. So if you want to get food delivered and you're concerned and you don't want any contact, all you gotta do is hit that. They'll leave it outside for you. They'll let you know when they're coming. So because right now, like we all got to be supporting our local businesses. I know our dinner plans for the evening. Usually we don't do stuff until the weekend, but we're ordering out tonight. We're gonna get like a no contact delivery just because we know the local businesses need it. We're going to give a great tip, a fat tip to the driver and to the restaurant because these people are hurting right now,
Yeah.
and we want to make sure everyone's safe. But there's also there's people out there trying to earn a living, and we want to do everything we can to support that.
Absolutely. Also, you can support your local restaurants and businesses like that by buying gift cards. If you buy them now, goes to the bottom line, and you can use it later. But that would also definitely help. And of course, delivery. That's a great idea with the no contact option. I didn't even know they were doing that.
Plus, after you get your kids home all day, the last thing you feel like doing is cooking some dinner. So I mean,
Also, like I don't know how much you bought from the store, but like I bought all fruits and vegetables. Didn't think like they would be done in like 3 days. So
did you go
definitely.
plant based?
Yeah, so not a great time to go plant-based, but definitely going to need to do some DoorDash or something like that. Grubhub. Grubhub's also good because didn't think about it.
Yeah, so they now I don't know if Grubhub has no. I couldn't find that on their website, so just double check. I just want to be clear with everybody. This is just all the research we did, and it took a lot of time to do it. So a lot of resources. We want to hit on a lot of stuff there.
Hmm.
Jess wants to talk about what Zillow did. I got a very interesting email from them a couple days ago. Why don't you share? Do you want me to lead in, then you talk about it?
You tell me.
So Richard Barton, CEO of Zillow, and I reached out to our rep, and I just been out to Zillow, and obviously all that. They are next month's bill for all the agents that advertise with them. They're having it, meaning it's going from whatever your normal spend is to 50% of that to take some of the burden off people's shoulders. And what I appreciate they're doing here is they could have locked this into a contract. They could have said, tough crap, guys. This is your contract to sign. That's it. And they did this on their own. When I reached out to our rep, Brad, he said, we're working on something. We'll be in touch. It wasn't. So what I appreciate that they did is they got ahead of it. And they've always said we're better together. That's a company putting their money where their mouth is. So what do you think about all this, Jess?
I think it's something like Zillow is the middleman between the customer and us. And I really do think that agents who are going to be, not all agents, but some agents might be struggling right now in terms of where they put their spend for the services that they provide to their customer. So I think it was a really smart move and kind might be a good word, but a good move on Zillow to provide that. So the customers can still get in touch with the agents if they still need to buy and the right agent specifically.
I should have turned my notifications off my computer before we did this because I keep hearing all these dings. But what makes sense here is, look, I mean, the reality is that people are still going to buy and sell no matter what happens. I mean, I've been through the '08 recession. I mean, I know people that bought during 9/11. And the point is this, that Zillow didn't have to do this. And say is that anyone that's really holding someone to a contract right now and being really aggressive, I mean, there's a lot of crazy things happening right now. So that's the right thing to do. I don't think there's much more to talk about. They did it on their own. We've had some vendors that have been really great. We've had others that haven't been. I mean, if I'm sitting here telling you we haven't looked at like cutting budgets right now because there's an issue of people working or not, I wouldn't be clear with you. I mean, this is something any business owner needs to do. So the fact that Zillow went ahead and did that, I mean, it was the right thing, and I'm happy that they did because I don't want to have to make a tough decision later. I want to continue to work with the company from where we are, and that's a really important thing because I mean, there's people that spend big time money on Zillow every month, and if sellers aren't letting you into their homes, it's going to be an issue, or buyers don't feel comfortable going out, it's going to be an issue. So really stand up move by Zillow there. I don't know there's much else to say about it. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, maybe we can get some more, maybe they can go to 75%, but that would be my only take on that. So sounds like
the mentality of Zillow, like getting through this together, and not just in real estate, like all other aspects as well. You really need to get through this time together, and Zillow feel like it's embracing that.
Well, and look at our interactions with our Zillow rep, right? I mean, he comes out, he works with us. I mean, he comes to our team meetings. He doesn't have to do all that. I mean, his job is to sell and to keep us happy as a client, and he's taking it to another level. So, that's what a good person does, right? Like that's the right thing to do in that job, and he's doing it. So, like what the Zillow did there. The last piece of real estate news we'll share with you, and this is all fact sharing right now. We're not really getting into too much. Is Gary Keller came out and he had some long statement to Keller Williams. And Gary Keller's a smart guy. I love his Think Like a CEO podcast. There's only 2 seasons. There's only like 10 episodes. I just recently listened to it. Thought it was pretty cool. But here's what he said, and then we can talk about it. So make no mistake, we're in a shift. It's a different one than we've ever seen before. Its cause in and of itself warrants caution. We owe that to ourselves and everyone around us. The health challenge that has shown up in our lives is very real. It must be respected, and we must take all the necessary actions to keep each other safe. So let's break this down. So far, sounds pretty good. I think that's what everyone's been saying. We've been saying safety first the whole time. I think that was like the first thing I told you guys when all this stuff happened. So love that part of the statement. Any feedback, Jess?
I mean, it's pretty common sense.
Okay, we're going to keep going. The economic effect of this challenge is both uniquely real and surprisingly familiar. It's called a shift, an economic shift. This isn't the first one and certainly won't be the last. Shift happens, and when it does, you must shift with it. You need to pivot quickly. If you don't take action, you're literally turning your business into a game of chance, and there's no reason to do that. The actions are simple and highly effective. They've been time-tested and proven. Make no mistake, you need to pivot. You need to pivot today. So what do you do? And then he goes on and talks about the book that he wrote, Shift, in 2009, and it was on the heels of the 2008 recession and the economy failing and all that. And then he has a couple points here. I'm going to summarize this because it's a long article. One is wake up and pay attention. Make no mistake where we are. Don't let how you feel about the situation dictate what you do about it. You're dealing with less. You must do more. It's not a choice. It's imperative. Point 2, then he quotes like a Kenny Loggins song, and he's from Texas, so that's fine. I'm not going to go through that. Point 2, learn to live on less. And then he talks about a penny saved at a penny is a penny earned. Real power of the pivot is realizing that reducing your expenses is not a one-time event. Cut expenses every month for the rest of the year. Make it a game, and don't forget to acknowledge and reward those who help. And review everything. Review every line, every month. Don't stop until January 2021, and you'll be amazed at what you missed each time. Point 3, double down on leads. Dig into your goals and determine how many leads you're going to need to achieve them. It's an absolute certainty that it will take more leads to accomplish your sales goals today than it did yesterday, and that is why you double down. Think of it this way. The number of people out there you can do business with is never zero. There are still people that need you. You'll have to work twice as hard to find them. Even in 2011, the worst year of the Great Recession, the number of sides per agent was nearly the same as in 2019. There's still a lot of opportunity. It's just less, and you must pivot and get more. Dust off your lead gen options. Choose the one that make the most sense. Time block a minimum of 4 hours a day for lead gen and never stop. And then point 4, lean into the market of the moment. To succeed in the market, you must understand it. No two markets are the same, which means a solution for one won't necessarily work in the other. Take a step back, look around, and identify the opportunities your market today has to offer. Every market will explain how you can best work in it and how people can best make it work for them. The market will show you where you need to pivot. And he goes on and says, onward. What do you think about all this? I mean, look, I threw a lot at you there.
That was a long one. I think the first thing he mentioned was to wake up and realize that this is reality. I feel like people are kind of thinking that this, not everybody, and a lot of people are taking this seriously, but I think a lot of people are sitting back and maybe thinking like, this is a break and you need to realize what's happening. This is reality and you need to not wait to get into action. You're either going to sink or you're going to survive. And if you're going to survive, you will realize that there are people out there, and he touched upon it, that still need help. And that's really my goal during this time, is to find the people who really do need help and service them, because that's how I can contribute to the community.
100%. So I read Shift. We had a team meeting, right, on Tuesday. Most of the content I shared with you was from Shift.
Oh.
So, and the perspective for me is a little different in that, like, I got engaged in 2008 and we were paying for our own wedding. And then all of a sudden, all the shit happened, right? Like, everything went down. And I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And we got through it. You know, we're here now. I mean, it was not easy, but certainly waking up and understanding everything is going to be pretty important. So I think you got to really consume more content, meaning like figure out what's going on in the marketplace, number one. Like look at stats, understand the market. So I love that. That's really good. So number two was learn to live on less. What do you got there, Jess?
You really have to make an adjustment because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Just being very literal, like watch what you're spending your money on. And obviously, as it comes to a business owner, it's a different meaning. But me, I'm going to learn how to, not frugally spend, because I spend way too much money on Starbucks, just to say. And Starbucks is still open.
You make me feel guilty here because I had my first Starbucks in like a week, and I was drinking it on the show. Here's the cup. It's because I've been up like working nonstop. Because I think what he's talking about here, and I'll hit on in a second, is you've got to figure out how to cut expenses right now, whether you're a business or whether it's your personal family. I mean, all those, right now, we don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know where they're next. I mean, people are living, some like waitresses or like bartenders or people in a lot of like service things like that they're cut out. So where does your paycheck come from? So you really need to be smart with your money.
Well, and this is directed to realtors too. So, I mean, you got to look at it like we talked today, and we have done some things that we stopped all our campaigns, our marketing campaigns, because you know what? No one wants to hear that shit right now. And I mean, they want to hear what's going on, how can we help them? That's really it. It's all about help, service, which is one of our core values. I'm looking at it right now, and that's it. That's all that matters right now. The cool like objection handlers and the best scripting that stuff's gone. That's out the window. So it's all about sweat equity right now, and that's how I was able to get through 2008 and 2009. So it's all just putting the work in and doing the right things for your people. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a great point. Number 3, double down on leads. What did you think about all this?
If you're going to come out the other end of this alive, you are going to have to work like 10 times harder than you have been working, and do things that will work. Go back to the basics, just calling people, nurturing them, seeing if they need help, just seeing if they need a phone call and seeing if they need help, not even real estate related, like maybe touch upon that, but offer help in other things too. But you just need to be talking to a lot more people.
Well, so the conversion's going to drop, right? Like some people, things change. I mean, you get someone that's, let's say they're a waiter at a high-end restaurant. You make a lot of money doing that. Guess what? There's nothing coming in. You're a caterer. Done, right? Like, I mean, there's some serious things happening here. And what I loved about this was the last 2 lines. And you're probably like, here we go again, Tom. I've heard this from you before. Dust off your lead generations options. Choose the ones that make sense and time block a minimum of 4 hours a day. Because guess what? There's less appointments to go on right now. So if we're not going out trying to find more people, like it's going to stop. And to me, it's all about having the right conversations, asking the right questions to people when the time comes to go that route. Because right now it's not that time. I'm telling you right now, like anyone that's calling and using for sale by owner scripts and everything else,
You're gonna
bad
turn
move.
people off.
Well, there's got to be empathy there. And, you know, I mean, a lot of these people, we get to know them really well. I mean, you
Right.
work with a lot of your clients, like you're spending all this time with them.
Even afterwards.
Yeah, and I mean, there's people, you know, there's a couple families that reached out to us. I've done, you know, I've dropped off like some iPads to somebody. They needed to pick them up for their kids. The store was out here, all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's like what we need to be doing right now. So but you've got to also spend the time getting on the phone. Like literally any agent that's doing anything but phone calls and video, you're done. Just pack your bags now because your market share is going to get taken. It's getting on the phone and sending out personalized videos because people need to hear the sound of your voice and they need to see the whites of your eyes. Nothing else matters.
They want interaction, not too close, but they still want interaction.
I mean, look, video works, right? So, I mean, that's to me, that's a really important thing. And number 4, lean into the market of the moment, meaning look for I took that as look for the opportunities and take advantage because our market's different than other markets. I mean, I know people, San Francisco, shelter in place right now. New York City, shut down. Nothing's happening. Geographically, a little more active here because we're in the suburban market. And Philadelphia is kind of a spread out city in general. So what do you think about number 4?
I mean, the same as you. You really just have to double down, and you might not focus on the market that you were previously focusing on, like sellers or for sale by owner, and maybe, go out and find those people who really need to, or in a situation where they need to buy a home, like their lease was ending or some circumstance where they need to move and really help them. Like the people who you were servicing before might not be the same and you need to adjust.
100%. So, I mean, look, we don't work for Keller Williams. I don't got any skin in the game here. To me, for the agents watching, read the book Shift if you haven't.
I'm gonna.
Depth. I got a copy. It's all marked up, Don. You might want your own. And number 2, listen to Gary, right? I mean, he's been through this cycle a number of times. Like a lot of people talked about, hey, there's a recession coming or the market's going to shift. And it was maybe this year, maybe next year. No one thought it would happen like this.
This way, yeah.
Exactly. And no one thought all those banks were going to fail. I mean, that was crazy in 2008. No one thought what happened in 2001 and 9/11 would have happened. It did. So all I can tell the agents watching here is you better have some empathy. You better cut your expenses and you better put in the work. And if you're not doing that, see you later.
And if you are, I'll see you on the other side.
Hell yeah. And I mean, look, we're all going to get through this together. And I said this on our team call today, Jess. I mean, we're lucky to be in the foxhole together working through this in a lot of ways. 1, making sure everyone's family's okay first and foremost, making sure everyone's healthy. And 2, seeing what resources are out there and getting the word out. So that's all we're trying to do here. So is to help people, get them the right information. And that's the intention of this episode. And we're going to keep rolling out the show this way until something changes and things cool down.
Until then, see you next time.
Catch you next week.